Hey everyone. I'm so excited to be doing this session for the Tailor Made Homeschool Conference, virtual conference 2021. This session is entitled Watching the Clock, Creating a Homeschool Routine for Your Family. I am Destini Burns, a homeschooling mother with 11 children, and I live in Nashville, Tennessee. And I am super excited to be sharing this information with you because, honey, let me tell you, my husband and I, we have been through every homeschool schedule you could think of. And obviously, with a tribe like ours, the Burns tribe, we have to come up and create different ways to make sure that our family and our life flows. So I'm super excited to be sharing this information with you, and I hope that you can gain some insight. Please feel free to email me if there is anything that you need. You can also follow me on Instagram, and we are about to get started. So, obviously, we are watching the clock, creating a homeschool routine that fits your family. Again, welcome. I am Destini Burns. I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a sister, I am a friend. I believe in homeschooling and I am growing my homeschool tribe on social media and YouTube. Why am I here? Well, I am here to help you to help you think about ways that you can create a schedule that works for your family. As I mentioned earlier, I am a homeschooling mother. I have 11 children, and not all of them are homeschooled yet. Some of them are, and some of them we will be transitioning. But I definitely believe in making sure that your children get the education that they need when they need it. And so we are currently homeschooling four. It will be six the fall of this upcoming year. And we are really looking forward to just now that we are in a flow, which I will talk about a little later. We are definitely looking forward to this year. We are year round homeschoolers, so we don't stop when the summer stops. We actually kind of kick it up a notch, but just do a lot more hands on things. We take advantage of the outside a lot. And I'll kind of highlight that and show you guys some of the things that we use. But let's get this party started. All right, so just really quickly, some of the things that you will need for this course. Obviously, a charged laptop or a cell phone. You will need your favorite notebook and a pen and a pencil or something that you love to write with. You can also obviously take notes on your cell phone. I'm pretty good at that. But whatever works for you, anything that can help. I don't want it to be too cumbersome or too burdensome to give you different handouts and things like that because I'm a mom of 11, like I said. So I lose most of my papers. And so if I put it in my phone, it works so much better. But I'm always willing to share notes with you, to hop on a quick Zoom with you. I'm always willing. So please just, if you need help or if you need something, just reach out. And that is all right, so we have a few session objectives. One, I want to know that although many homeschool styles have navigated away from schedules, there's unschooling, there's a lot of just different, there's the eclectic and things like that. A lot of people are like, oh, we don't need a homeschool schedule anymore. And that is great for you. The beautiful thing about homeschool is that we are flexible. So it fits your lifestyle and it definitely fits your children. As for me and my house, though, we need a schedule. And for those of us who need schedules or at least a flow, right? Something that kind of helps our day go from the beginning until the end. That's what I consider to be a homeschool flow, where you're just kind of flowing from one subject to the next. You definitely have a plan, but it's not so rigid in terms of times and things like that. It's more of a flow. With that, that is what I'm going to kind of help you work through today. And so, obviously, the objective of this session is to create a flow for your home slash school. And I'm putting school in parentheses because really my homeschool routine includes a lot of stuff that's done at home, but that we include in our homeschool day. And so that's why I put home school and get ideas for things to include in your homeschool day to create more time for you and your child or children. So, first, I wanted to kick it off with this quote from Maria Montessori. The greatest sign of success for a teacher is to be able to say, the children are now working as if I did not exist. Now, I want us all to really sit in that quote and really sit, rather, I'm sorry, and think about what she is saying. The greatest sign of success for a teacher is to be able to say, the children are now working as if I did not exist. As homeschool parents, that's my goal. That's my husband and I's goal. We want to make our day so seamless that our children don't necessarily need to ask us, hey, what do I do next? Hey, what is this? Hey, what is that? And to me, that is a schedule for our family that flows. You and your husband or you may have some different ideas in terms of what is a successful homeschool schedule, what is a successful homeschool day. But to me, as homeschoolers, we are provided the opportunity to teach our children independence, not to be relying on a system, but to rely on their brains, to rely on their ingenuity, to rely on their own rationale and logic, to make sound decisions, to teach themselves. And I think this quote beautifully kind of sums up what our homeschool schedule and what I am going to talk to you about in terms of our flow, what we are trying to accomplish. We want it to be so that our children don't even realize that we are at home or are like, okay, mom, I really don't need you. Okay, dad, I may need you with your help on this piece, but in terms of everything else, you guys have taught us how to do this. And that is what we are talking about today. So first, we are going to start off with an activity. So if you want to grab your paper and something that you like to write with, or whip up your notes on your laptop or whatever, and we are going to go through something called the ugly truth. So there are three kind of questions that I want you to think about. The first one is, what do you love about your current homeschool schedule? The second one, what do you hate about your current homeschool schedule? And the third, what is the ugly truth about the way you have planned? All right. So, again, what do you love? What do you hate? And what is the ugly truth about the way you have planned? Okay. So, I'm going to share mine. Uh, what do I love about my current homeschool or house schedule? We get to touch on a lot of subjects through the week. That was kind of my homeschool one. For my house, it's just that we are finally at a place where our children, who range from age 2 to age 13, and again, there are 11 of them, but we are just now getting them to a place where they feel like there's a rhythm. But I've also created a lot of things to make it take some of that burden off of me and really give it to the children. And to be honest with you, I was a young mother. So there were a lot of things that I do now with my younger children in terms of equipping them to be independent, teaching them how to do things a certain way that I really didn't do necessarily with my oldest daughter. She's one of the 13-year-olds that we have. Just to run it down really quick, we have a 2-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old. I'm sorry, a 2-year-old, a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old. And then we have my oldest, who is 13. Those are mine. I have 5 biological. I have 6 bonus kids. It's 3 sets of twins. So it's a set that's 11, it's a set that's 12, and it's a set that's 13. So my 13-year-old slides in between the set of 12 and the set of 13. So just to kind of give you context about where we're at. So we have all ages and stages. So when I talk about having a schedule of home and homeschool is important, it is very important to us. And obviously, if it works for us, then a flow or finding a flow can definitely be something that you and your household can create. Okay. And again, I'd be more than happy to talk with you or discuss with you and kind of what that looks like in your home and just come up with some strategies or ways to get more of a flow, to free up some of your time, right? Because time is what we're all trying to save here, and it's very important. So again, what do you love about your current homeschool house schedule? We get to touch on subjects, a lot of subjects throughout the week. Something that again I love about my home schedule is that we're just now getting to a space where our children are kind of able to do a lot of things in the house on their own. I've created checklists, I've done all types of things, and we've done a lot of hands-on training because, as we know, we cannot be lazy parents. Okay. Question number 2. What do you hate about your current homeschool or house schedule? At times, we are not as productive and don't complete all the things we need to do throughout the week. I mean, it just is what it is, y'all. And I can't even say that I hate that. I just dislike it. I really, if I have a plan, I kind of want to stick to it because in my mind, this is what I want to get through and this is what I want to do. But that actually segues into the ugly truth about, how I plan my house. I am an overachiever, period. And I try to pack in too many subjects for my children's age and development. So in my mind, my children are great and they can do everything that I can do. But I'm also going through this Montessori training, and it's something that I've been learning is that, to me, it looks like algebra, right? I've learned it. I know it. That is my scope. That is where I'm at. I've mastered it. But to my children, these different concepts, addition, subtraction, or we use Saxon, so it's some more, some went away. To them, this is new, this is foreign, this is like looking at a totally different language. And just because I know it, that's only because it's in my brain and it's something that I have taken 30 plus years to learn. But for them, every day is new, and I have to keep remembering that. As parents who are first generation homeschoolers, all we know or our base is either private or public school, both of which were confined by time and budget. And homeschool, it's a totally different animal. We have time, right? Our budget at times can be small, but we still have the time to give our kiddos what it is that they need. And so I have to continue to remember that my ugly truth sometimes is I am dealing with a 2 year old, a 6 year old, an 8 year old, a 9 year old. And when they get a little bit older, obviously they'll be able to handle more content and more things. But I've really had to scale back over the years. Um, and even over these past months, just to say, like, okay, Destiny, give them what they need, everything else will come, right? And so that is something that we just have to remember. Also, I will add in my little caveat here. And my little caveat here is do not get caught up. I repeat, do not get caught up in the new shiny mom on Instagram, right? I've been there and I've done that. And sometimes you see moms and you're like, oh my gosh, their kids are learning trigonometry at 6, right? And that's obviously like a great thing if your child is learning trig at 6. But a lot of us, that's not the case. And we have to be very careful that we don't compare ourselves because that could really put out or dampen our spirit, right? And so we just have to remember, don't lie, don't fall into the lie of comparison. Okay, what you're doing with your child is brilliant and beautiful. I share our journey on Instagram because I know that there are people out there who see mine, and I consider myself to be simplistic, but whenever I talk to my friends or my loved ones, they're always like, "Man, like what you do is just so great," or "Your homeschool." Like I would have never thought to do that, and so again, that's kind of like that. Oh, okay, so I am doing something that's pretty cool. But again, I got caught up at once, like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough. Look at all these people on Instagram and da da da. And I literally like had to put my phone down. I had to stop because if not, you'll never continue on the path that your children need from you because you're so busy worried about what other people doing and other people's schedules. And to be honest with you, honey, I don't know too many people who have 11 kids. So what I'm doing is pretty good. You know what I'm saying? And you have to look at yourself that way. You don't know anybody who has your child. Your child, does things differently and may want something a different way. So again, try to stay away from comparing yourself or your schedule or your home to someone else's because guess what? If you do that, you're just going to end up getting frustrated. You will frustrate yourself and you will end up frustrating this process. So, now that I've gotten those disclaimers out of the way, let's talk about how to shave, not save, shave some time off our schedule. This is what we do in our house of 11. Again, I only homeschool about 4 of our children. One of them goes to private and a few of them go to public. And that's just because we moved. And when we moved, it was just a lot going on. And I wanted to keep some things continuous. Next year, we will be homeschooling a few more. So let's talk about shaving off time, giving ourselves back some time to do those things that we really want to do and love. So the first one is S, and our S stands for self. Okay. So when our kiddos wake up in the morning, this is kind of, we follow kind of the S.H.A.V.E system. And so essentially, the S stands for self. So when my kiddos get up, they will take care of themselves. That's essentially what it means. You're taking care of yourself first thing in the morning. What does that mean? That means that you could be praying. That means that you could be meditating. You're definitely going to brush your teeth and wash your face. You are going to get yourself dressed. You are going to take care of first things, right? And I say take care of first things because it could be journaling. It could be whatever your family determines this is important. This is one of the first things that you should do, right? That is S. That's that S in shave. It's self, taking care of yourself, taking care of first things first. This should be very routine and needs little guidance. Usually, what I do is I have a big whiteboard and I write on my whiteboard, you know, one, morning routine. That's what we call it, the morning routine. So in the morning routine, it's going to include, all of those things that we talked about, taking, your hygiene, your self-care routine, all that prayer, all of that. That's taking care of yourself. Your next one is H, which is house or home. Okay. And so for my children, after they take care of themselves, then they take care of their responsibility, which is their chore. Their first chore is their bedroom. So before they do anything, they take care of their bedroom. Okay, they make their bed, and their rooms. We're really getting into kind of like this fold of your room is clean every night, so that way when you wake up you don't have to do so much. And then they'll go check their chore. So right now my 6 year old, his chore is himself. He's still in a stage where we have to make sure we're brushing our teeth every day, we're washing our face, we're putting on clothes, all of the clothes. Sometimes he doesn't want to wear underwear, and that's okay, but not every day. So we're learning those things. My 8 year old, her chore is the living room. And because our living room is rather large, she actually teams up with an older sibling to do that. But when she's here during the day and that older sibling is gone, her responsibility is just to make sure that the floor is clean. And, I help her do the couch and things like that, just making sure that everything is clean. Because, just being totally transparent, our living room is lived in, right? We don't have the furniture that no one sits on. Our living room is lived in. We have 11 people in our home. We do a lot of our homeschooling in our living room, because we don't necessarily have a dedicated homeschool room with desks and things like that. Although that would be nice, maybe in our next home, but right now we don't have that. And so because we don't, we homeschool a lot in our living room, in our kitchen, on our front porch, on our back porch, really wherever they kind of want to homeschool. So again, I help her with that. My 9 year old does the kitchen. And so again, our kitchen is pretty big. We have a decent sized kitchen. And she actually teams up with one of the olders, but because the older is gone, I help her do that. And that also gives me a chance to kind of walk her through the steps. Something else that I have done to make it way easier for my children is I have created checklists, which I'll show you a little bit later. It is also a freebie that you get from this class. It will be in our swag bag, but it is something that you'll be able to get and kind of edit it to suit you. Um, the next one, after home, so after they take care of themselves, after they've taken care of their home, then they eat breakfast. So in our home, they fix their own breakfast. What I do is I pretty much sit it out. Again, I write it on our whiteboard. That whiteboard like saves me so much time, y'all. So I write it on our whiteboard. It also helps with their reading comprehension. It's helping with math because I'm very specific. You can get a half a cup of Cheerios. You can get a half a cup of almond milk. And so they're really good. Or I'll say, hey, this morning we're making cinnamon rolls. And so whoever is my breakfast helper for the day, and everybody gets to help me kind of do breakfast. It's whoever I wake up or whoever wakes up early enough in the morning to do it. And so they'll be the one who fixes breakfast or guides everyone else to fix breakfast. Again, we're looking for efficiency. We're looking for independence. We're looking for people to help themselves, right? I'm going to help you help yourself. And then in turn, they also help the 2 year old. So they'll help her get dressed. They help her brush her teeth, wash her face. And then she actually gets to pour her own breakfast. Somebody will kind of measure it out for her, and she gets to pour it in her cup as well. So again, we're teaching that constant independence, but she's also following that system. It's just guided. After that, it's academics. So I wanted to kind of show you what we use, and I'll be more than happy to kind of share this. I actually got it from my Busy Bees and Me, who had kind of shown it, and there was an editable template on Teachers Pay Teachers. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to switch to that. Like, this is really cute. And it has worked, y'all. Like, this schedule has worked. So let me see if I can show it. So this is Jenny's schedule. And so pretty much what we do with academics is we follow a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, all of our stuff is the same. All of the classes that we do are the same. Wednesday, Friday, both of those days are the same. And there are some things that they do every day consistently. So every day my children do handwriting, or some type of writing. When we're about to amp up our writing a little bit more. They do reading, whether that is, we have right now, my daughter has started her first chapter book, so she's reading a chapter book now. Then we have, sometimes I'll do read aloud, sometimes we listen to Audible, and so we'll all read together. So it really just depends. And then on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, oh, I'm sorry, and we all do some type of meditation, yoga, or prayer almost every day. That's every day. And then there's things that change up. So we do calendar time. My 2-year old does circle time with Miss Monica. We love Miss Monica, by the way. She does circle time with Miss Monica, but she also participates in our calendar time because I want them to understand the value of time, the seasons, the days of the week, things like that. And then from there, we kind of go off. We do a few subjects together. And so that's what I want to talk about. We do common subjects. And I know most people kind of know how to do this. But when I first started off in homeschooling, I was trying to differentiate everything, honey, because the public schools didn't differentiate enough. So what did I do? I wanted to have this individual time with this and this individual time with this. And after a while, my husband was like, honey, you are doing a lot. Why don't you group some of that stuff up? And I was like, you know what? You are right. Um, and so I teach quite a few things together. So now we do science together because that is a common subject. Everybody's pretty much there. And I do differentiate a little bit, but for the most part, my children are really hands on. So I do, we do Blossom and Root right now, science, but we're about to start kicking in some more science projects and some more science experiments because my children absolutely love hands on learning experiences, as do most children. So we're going to kind of step it up a little bit with the experiments, but we're still going to follow Blossom and Root in terms of just kind of a more structured curriculum. But we follow the rabbit hole, or follow, the rabbit down its hole a lot when it comes to our homeschool curriculum. So again, we do science together, we do geography together, we do history together. And those again are just easy ways. I do probably do a little bit more history with my with Genesis. She is my, I guess, third grader. So I do a little bit more with her just because she's a little bit older and she can take a little bit more time. Whereas my second grader and my kindergartner, I'll get it in. I also take advantage of using or watching. We watch Carmen Sandiego a lot, because obviously she travels to different countries. And so that's a way to kind of get that in there and learn about some of the different countries that she travels to. And so that is usually what I'll do for my kindergartner, for history or for geography, because she is traveling to different places. And usually she highlights kind of famous monuments or things there. So that's just kind of a little nugget of a way to get in what it is that you need, but not necessarily be so hands on. And then obviously we have books, we do math work, things like that. And then we also do specials and baking together. So we do try to do some type of a cooking together or some type of a baking together. And so that's kind of how we do our academics. And again, I'd be more than happy to kind of show you, separately about more the way our academics is scheduled, but really for our homeschool schedule, it encompasses this S.H.A.V.E method. The next one is VIP, which stands for very important plans. So this part of shaving time runs concurrently with academics. The goal is to complete things while your children work independently. For me, I still do some consulting work on the side. So that is when I get an opportunity while my children are preoccupied with their schedule. And it's set up in such a way that they can pretty much do everything by themselves. The second grader and the kindergartner still do need me a little bit more. But again, I am training my oldest daughter to kind of help or to kind of guide them. But they also are really good with guiding themselves or finding other things to do if mommy has a meeting or I have to jump on a Zoom or have to do some, finish up a last minute report or things like that. And the next is everything else. Your plan may change, and that's okay. This component to shaving time captures all the things that may arise. Sometimes that's grocery shopping. Sometimes that's washing clothes. But in our household, we've even created a schedule down to washing clothes. We wash clothes on the weekends, Friday, Saturday. That's our day. And the reason we do that is because one, it cuts down on our bills, it cuts down on our electricity. And I may wash like blankets or something like that all throughout the week, or towels if we really need them. But I have a schedule so that all of my children, from the oldest to the youngest, are washing their clothes. And I have created like a step-by-step process. This is how you do it. I number all of our laundry, or I number our laundry ingredients in the order that they need to use them. And I've made it really user friendly so that even if they forget, they're like, okay, what do I do next? Oh, right, I put in number two. How much do I use? Oh, look, mommy marked a line right there. And so I made it very user friendly, so that way they can be independent. It takes a little bit of the burden off me because, again, 11 kiddos in the house, that's a lot of laundry, right? But when they do it themselves, it's not as bad. And they're really good about, like, okay, my day's Friday at 3 o'clock. As soon as I get off the bus, I'm going to come in, I'm going to get my clothes together, I'm going to wash them, I put them in the dryer, and then I go on about my merry way. And that's pretty much how we are learning how to shave time. All right. So I wanted to really quickly share this video, and it is the Duggar. So I'm going to play it. I'm going to give them a full screen because a lot of the things that they do when I first started watching the Duggars, and we didn't even have as big of a family at the time because I didn't have all of my littles that I have now, but I was still fascinated with a lot of their processes. And no matter what people think or, what personally they did, what I will say is as a big family, they homeschooled. And for me, I still refer to them a lot and what they did and how they did certain things in their homeschool with their children because I have a lot of children. And so, we all have to learn how to work from each other. I can't judge anybody in their personal life, but I do know that they had systems and processes that I still use or try to use today. So those are some of the things I wanted to share with you. All right. So now let me come back here. Okay. So I really wanted to share with you guys just a few little things and kind of point out what they were. So over here, you're going to see a menu. So one of the things that I did to really help save my family some time as well as homeschool was I created a menu. And to be perfectly honest with y'all, my menu does not change. Okay. I can't even sit up here and say that every day I'm creating these wonderful meals that are just different and all Pinteresty and stuff. Like I may give myself 1 or 2 days a week to create something new and different. And I more do that for my children because they really want to cook or they like to cook. So right now, my 9-year-old is really into she was into cooking, and so for Christmas we got her a few cookbooks. And so that's one of the things that I kind of promised her was that we would be a little bit more diligent in terms of creating things off of the menu that we would kind of throw in there. And Saturday is usually kind of our day to do that, or Sunday. But for the most part, we eat stuff the same, right? Like now, what I do is I give choice, right? And so my choices are guided. So what that looks like is it's not like everybody wakes up in the morning and we all have to eat oatmeal Monday through Thursday, right? We were doing that for a second, and that's not bad, especially when it's cold outside, because really nobody wants to eat cold stuff in the morning, right? But what I do is I'll say, okay, we can have oatmeal, smoothie bowl, waffles, or what was on here? It was oatmeal and fruit. So oatmeal, smoothie bowl, waffles, or I don't know, cinnamon rolls, right? And that's really pretty much what I buy every week, just in case. And so what happens is we'll say, okay, we have to choose one. What do we want to choose? And everybody will say, oh, we want waffles. And so they're pretty good at kind of working out what it is that they want. Our lunches are pretty much always the same. It's either going to be peanut butter and jelly with some fruit and some rice cakes, or it may be like a tuna salad sandwich. It's pretty pretty cut and dry. And then again, every weeknight we're pretty much doing the same thing. Now, what I will do is in the spring, summer, winter, fall, I switch up what the dinners will be. But because we have such a big family, again, I really try to kind of stick to the script. We shop at Sam's, we shop at Costco, and that's just kind of how we do our menu. It is what it is. But this also helps because now my children are aware of like, hey, we need more such and such. Hey, mommy, that's the last spaghetti sauce. I know we need it for next week. And so now they're in a mode of keeping us on track. And that helps our schedule because imagine starting to cook something and you don't have all of your ingredients. That's like one of those, like, oh no. And so that's kind of how it is. Next, up here, you'll see like a little Burns Academy. So this was like one of our very first schedules, and it kind of broke down in increments. This is what people do. Now, for those of you who may or may not know me, I used to work during the day full time, and so I would homeschool at night and on the weekends. So when you see 6:30 on here, this is not 6:30 in the morning, okay? This is 6:30 at night. Did my children stay up late past the quote unquote normal bedtime? Yes, they did, because we had to do some schooling. But honestly, it really wasn't that long. They would help me prepare dinner, so that was a piece of it. We would do some reading. We would do their afternoon work, which is usually morning work for most people. So like your handwriting and things like that. And so then we would just end, I think, around maybe like 10 o'clock or something like that. So it still wasn't too bad. They got in what they needed to. And again, during the day, dad helped a lot. So I only had to come home and do the subjects that I elected to do. My husband is very hands on and he participates a lot in our homeschool. And so he really does help out. For those single parents out there, if you don't have a significant other in the home but they're an active co-parent, then you could always have the co-parent kind of help to teach. You could also have grandmas, aunties, uncles, cousins, church members. There's so many different ways that you can homeschool, and you can also homeschool on your own. It can be done. I have a dear sister friend. We do something called Hope and Homeschooling together, and she is a single mother and she homeschools, and she and her children are doing phenomenally well. So don't feel deterred like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. You can. So don't worry about that. The next thing I have on here is a homeschool goal map. So what I do at the beginning of each homeschool year is I really talk to my husband and I kind of gauge what our kiddos want to learn for the year. Based on that, we set goals. because it's really by them. So I'm not going to be buying curriculum that they don't want to use or that they don't like. I'm going to be specifically getting things or books related to what it is that they like. So that way, when we have free read or when we have activities, I'm just very intentional about keeping their attention. The next thing is a kitchen cleaning checklist. So remember when I told you I made checklists out the wazoo and we have them for everything? Well, this is no exception. I created this checklist so that our children, when they, because what we do is we rotate chores. And so as they start to do a different chore, the person who is leaving that chore will show them this is the checklist. This is what needs to be done time by time by time. Some chores are done every day. Some chores are done every week. Some chores are done once a month. And it really just depends. But we have one for the kitchen. We have one for bedrooms. We have one for the bathroom. Um, we have one for the living room. And so, again, it is just a way to make sure that you have a schedule. Oh, and what do I do with this? I laminate it. If you don't have a laminator, you can get some of those pretty cheap like page protectors that you can get from like Walmart, the dollar store, Dollar Tree. You put it in that, and then you can just like either tack it up on your wall. You can tape it on your wall if you don't have any tack. You can keep it somewhere where it's just in reach for even the little people to see it, but it's still not going to be like torn off the wall or anything like that. When we lived in an apartment, my list was on the front of the door, and the bathroom list was on the back of the bathroom door. So it really just depends again on your space and size. But this kitchen cleaning checklist, all of our cleaning checklists have been so instrumental in just our children like getting it together. And then this last one is something that I created for one of my friends because my children earn rewards. We have a ticket system. Sometimes they earn money. Some of them have a few businesses, so there's some entrepreneurs in the mix. And so I created something for Genesis, and for the homeschool littles where they were able to track. They wanted to buy something. So they were, let's say their savings goal is $100, and I am going to do what with this $100? I'm going to buy a bicycle. And so then every time they got allowance or earned some money, they write it down. I also laminated this so it could be reused over and over again. Um, and those are just a few of the things that I've created that really help to make our schedule and our home flow a lot better. So they don't have to ask me what's for dinner. If I'm not at home by the time it's time for dinner, then we have designated people who can cook or help to prepare. And usually I cook it in the morning or during the day. But if I don't, then they can look and say, okay, boom, boom, boom. And they know that I grocery shop every Sunday. So that way there's no hiccup in like, what are we going to do or what are we going to eat? All right. And lastly, what I want you guys to do for homework, because I always give homework to homeschool parents because we always give homeschool work to our friends, to our kiddos, is I want you to evaluate your current homeschool schedule and show how you can shave time. Time is all we have, y'all. It is important that a part of our homeschool is finding the time that we can actually spend to be with those that we love. We keep our children home. We have our spouse there with us. We do all of these things because we know that it's good for them, but we also have to capitalize on the time that we have with them. So again, think about how you can shave some time. Think about how you can make your process as independent as possible, but still be there managing and overseeing everything that is going on. I truly appreciate you guys taking the time to, you know, attend this session. I'm so excited that we are able to again have sessions like this where we can come together as homeschoolers and share information and really just glean from each other because we all need each other. I believe in the village mentality and I believe in all of us being able to contribute to everyone else's success. So if you ever need any help or any assistance, please feel free to reach out to me. My name is Destiny_Burns Tribe 11 on Instagram, and I will be more than happy to reach out. I hope you enjoy the rest of your conference and have a great day.